This video will have a brief look at Essential Digital Skills Framework, the Digital Foundation Skills. And this is from TK Digital Services. Topics you need to know. You need to be able to turn on a device, be able to use your device controls, your device accessibility tools. You need to be able to interact with the device home screen. You need to be able to use the internet or Wi-Fi. You need to connect the device to a safe and secure Wi-Fi. Once connected to the internet, be able to be familiar with opening the browser, finding and using websites. Be able to keep passwords and personal information safe. You need to be updated and change those passwords. Turning on a device. Obvious that some may be, but not to all. If part of the computer, for instance, is on standby and the rest of it's been turned off, it may be difficult to see if it's actually on or off, so look around for other lights and such. It's quite a good idea to turn the screen on first, and you may realise the machine is logged on. If your device isn't logged on, look around for some obvious power signs and buttons. Some of them are quite embedded and very small. If you're really stuck, ask a colleague, and they should be able to point you towards the on button, maybe if there is one. Use the available controls. You need to allow time to get familiar with these controls and be patient. Some things can take a while to turn on. You need to allow yourself enough time to get familiar with these devices. Check the basic guides and then expand. Help familiarise yourself with the terminology, especially if you're changing platform. You can also find fun ways to use the mouse or keyboard, possibly with some games. This allows you to sort of get familiar with the devices, and you'll find you'll speed up over time as you've learned to use specific controls and then slowly expand upon those keys or controls. Device accessibility tools. These can be useful to everyone, not just those with specific needs. For example, to help you view, read, listen and do a task. So consider if you're injured, or even if you're tired, these accessibility tools may be able to help you. They're also good for being aware and supporting others. Interact with the home screen. This includes a navigation. A good graphical user interface will be able to help you navigate around the operating system software. As you're doing this, you can use the find features and you can find those key things you need, like a browser and where the software you're likely to use is located. Once you're more familiar with these areas, you can start personalizing the home screen. So when you log in, it has the key things that you need, either in the bars below or on your main desktop. As you start doing these things, become more familiar and personalizing, you start to save time. Your familiarity with the above points allowing you to be more productive. You need to be familiar with the internet and Wi-Fi. This can include being aware of the amount of data that is available for you to use, and if you can monitor that so that you don't run out when you most might need it. Check that you're connected to the device, and this might involve seeing if you're actually in range of something, or if something's switched on, or if there's any other issues. Also be safe about who and what you're connected to. Find out if something's being advertised, what information you can find out about that and who else is using it. Connecting a device to a local Wi-Fi. It's a good idea to use antivirus or some form of protection when you're downloading files and browsing to make sure you don't get any miscellaneous software or items downloaded to your device. Check the details of the Wi-Fi before connecting. Find out what information is available so you'd have a better understanding if it's a safe connection to use. You need to know how to connect to the internet, and you need to be familiar with browser names and the icons these represent. So this could be Edge, Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, etc. You need to be able to perform basic searches to find the items for yourself in a personal sense, or obviously for work. You need to be able to sort of check and choose from the results, know what's reliable and what's most useful. And then once in that page, you have some sort of familiarity and be able to navigate the different pages. This could be based on expectations or the skills that you build up. Passwords and personal information. You need to know how to keep them safe and secure. They need to be memorable to you, but also not too obvious to others. People may check social media profiles to try and guess what you might use as password. So don't always use the same password for everything. Because if one password gets hacked, then they may try that password on any other potential accounts. If you do need to write these down, try and put it down in a note form that even if somebody else read it, wouldn't mean something to them, but you have a rough idea of what it's likely going to be to you. Only put out the personal information that you need. You'll often see on forms there's a red asterisk or something that indicates you must fill it in. But make a decision if you need to fill in the other information. Do you want to give out everything about yourself and fill in all the fields? Ask yourself if it's necessary. You need to be happy and know the importance of updating and changing passwords. Consider regularly changing passwords, obviously on a safe connection, and make them even more secure as time goes on. A site or company that you use may be hacked. You may have missed the news that it has been hacked, so it's a good idea to know to change these passwords regularly. You may still have saved a password on an old device. Make sure you clear these devices, change those devices, or even look back and see what's connected to another device and remove that connection. Read and consider any feedback or prompts for forgotten passwords. Will you remember this? Will somebody else be able to work out this information? These are good things to think about when setting your passwords and making something secure. Practice task. Try having a go at some of these to put into practice some of the things that we've looked at. Turn on a device you don't use as often where you live, or you can use your main device if necessary, and check how you are currently connected to the internet. Go to your device's browser, one of, if you have many of them, and perform a search to find the guidance on your device's accessibility options. This may be by searching your phone or device operating system and adding the word accessibility. Read through the options available, then turn on, utilize one of these features that you might find useful.